Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Plebcast, and well, it's just the two of us today because Miles is still unavailable with some personal issues. So we'll ho- we'll we hope he'll be here. He'll be with us next week, as it kind of can get monotonous when there's just the two of us. You know what I mean? So, but then again, let's start with introductions. I am Slayer Hex, the temporary host, and I have with me my 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 arg I don't know how to explain it. It's like you know the buddy you always argue with. That's you. Yeah, yeah. We're just arguing, and then Miles is just there to keep us at bay. Well, he's not here anymore. We argue all we want. This is an argument episode. Let's do it. But yeah, but again, we'll try to keep that at a minimum. We'll try to keep everything civil. I got more responsibilities now, but yeah. So, TDS, how have you been liking the playoffs so far? In general, just briefly because we're gonna go step by step. Yeah. So, I think before we start talking playoffs, let's talk about I think two news that have kind of blown up since we last did the episode. For one, the TSM thing. I mean, for what all I'll say is that was a baller move. It's illegal and all that, but that's a baller move. I mean, I don't know how he was getting away with it. They probably do. They probably do have evidence, but we're not going to get into that. I mean, the more important thing is they won two games after they fired him. Yeah. Yes. 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 Excellent. You know what I mean, right? Then again, then again, we'll see like in a few hours whether TSM manages to keep their winning record because they play 100 Thieves like late in a few hours. So yeah, but yeah, like we are recording this pretty late for me, but pretty early for TDS American time. You know what I mean, right? I mean, yeah, fair enough. But yeah, but yeah, and the second thing I feel that's the big news that came out like 2 days ago, which is the Uzi. Uzi is indeed taking a break again. I mean, no, I think the first time he retired, that was not taking a break. That was like, yeah, I'm out. Yeah, I'm out. See ya, guys. Right? Yeah. And and then this. Yeah. I mean, yeah, yeah. My thing is, when I saw this, obviously I wrote about it, but I didn't write in great detail. It's just the news because again I saw the post and I don't read Chinese and I can't understand Chinese, but Google Translate works. Um, ran it on Google Translate, and the general gist of it felt like, and based on other people who've said as much, who who at least are on the same realms as this, that it was because of synergy issues. And I'm like, and in my head, the first thing that popped out was, wait, synergy issues. He barely played. Like he played like what, a few series, three, four, and then a few games sprinkled in the middle. Just yeah, yeah, yes. I mean, it it feels awful, but at the same time, I'm not surprised. It's like what else was supposed to happen, right? Less than 12 hours from now, right? BLG plays RA. Like just 12 hours, less than 12 hours. Yeah, yeah, less than 12 hours from now they play RA. Now, this news might have helped them because, it takes the whole shroud of their organization that, okay, who's playing Dog or Uzi? Like that's out of the window, right? We know who's playing, and like it might help them or it might hurt them. We don't know. Like it will probably be a bigger question after we know what happens with BLG in the playoffs. Because if because in all likelihood they're not making the finals. They're not going to MSI, right? Let's be let's be honest. Like let's be honest, right? Yeah. 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 But yeah, like I feel like, when you're looking at um BLG, it feels like this team never felt like it was set up to succeed in the way like you think like Fnatic is this year's Fnatic, right? Or maybe Gen G is in a sense, right? Or KDF is, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. The problem is, yeah, yeah. It, yeah, it's like barring like Weiwei and Crisp, everyone is the main protagonist. And it's like, no, I'm the protagonist. No, I'm the protagonist. And there's Uzi's on the bench like, I'm the protagonist. It's like, it's it's like it's like the whole situation was set up, I feel, to fail, and that's what it is. You know what I mean, right? It's like, yeah, yes, too many mouths to feed. Yeah, yeah. I think Doggo's been fine. It's like the situation where Doggo's become the punching bag, where everyone's like, "This is Doggo's fault," but like Doggo was given an opportunity. He's like, "Yeah, that's a good opportunity," and all of a sudden Uzi's coming back, and they signed Uzi later, and it's like you put Doggo in this situation, and now Doggo has to play through this. Even if he plays good, everyone's like, okay, he played well, and then when he plays bad, everyone's like, it's all his fault. It's a it's it's a bad situation for him to be in, to be honest. Yeah, yeah, alright, yeah. Yeah. And we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what happens with BLG. We'll touch more on BLG when we talk about the series, right? We'll touch more on that, but yeah, let's move on, right? Let's start with the LCK because that's been the one that's played the most games. Yeah, the most playoff games. LPL hasn't started yet officially because it's tomorrow. LEC's already had a game. We'll talk about that in a bit. But let's start with the LCK because dumb. Like, let's start with the first one, Down versus Bro. Well, I thought this series had more until Damwon basically said no. Like, Canyon was not about to have a 700 damage Jarvan game again. Yeah, but yeah, yeah, yeah. But again, like Bardol played well, but I felt like Bro's drafting was very hamstrung based. Like they had a very limited idea of what they wanted to play, and I didn't quite like that. It's like you probably could have done more with this, but who knows? I'm not a professional coach, and I don't know what the strategies that were planned are. But it felt like they got to a point where it was predictable what they were playing, and Bro kind of crumbled. Yes, they haven't played much. Yeah, they haven't played much playoffs. No, Umti hasn't played before. Umti hasn't played before in the playoffs. Yeah, it's especially against playing against two players in Canyon and Showmaker who've been to World's Finals. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The thing was, Damwon did what exactly everyone would have thought they got into the series with. We're gonna play through bot side. That's it. It's like it's like they played through bot side, and everyone knew why they were going to play through bot side, and they just did it, right? And I just felt like Bro didn't understand the magnitude of which DK was going to put so much pressure in bot side, and like we all saw the all pros, right? We all saw the LCK first teams and second teams and blah blah blah, and Dogdam and Kellen wasn't there, and everyone thought they're like they're like not there, but they're still pretty good, guys. They're still pretty good. They might not be a top three bot lane team, but they're fourth. That's pretty good in the LCK. Yeah, I mean, they were nowhere near Bros level. If you consider Bros bot lane, that Bros probably would probably be eighth. I mean, I mean, I really like I really like the bot lane of Samdi and those Peter I like, but I don't think I'd put them like yeah seventh or eighth I'd say, but like Dog Dam and Kellen would definitely be fourth because it's like Guma Keria, uh, Rural Lehens or Death Barrel, whichever one you want to swap between two and three. But that's pretty much how those stack up. And then there's Dogdam and Kellen, right? So they're always going to be fourth there. So I felt like they didn't quite realize how much pressure there was going to be on them. So yeah, but yeah, I mean DK had a clean game. Bardol played well. Everyone played well. They won it easy. That's pretty much all you need to know about this series because yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Not much to talk about there. And then we talk about I think the bigger series to talk about is actually DRX versus KDF because that went the full length and ultimately KDF won. What are your thoughts? Ooh, oh, do tell, do tell. Yeah, yeah. Uh, yeah. In my opinion, and this is what I've stood by for many years at this point, it's if you're a jungler, regardless of how good you are, if your solo laners never perform, you're never going to be good. And this series, for me, even though it went the distance, it felt like whoever won was due to the fact that their solo laners were clearly better than the others. Like, Zika was outplayed by Fate for most of the series. And yeah, yeah, yeah. And then Fate went game five, Twisted Fate, and like, yeah, my name's Fate. Yes. Uh, yeah, my name's Fate. So yeah, so I mean, and then there's Keen. We all knew that Keen is definitely better than Kingen, like without a shadow of doubt, right? And then Keen played to what he was supposed to be, right? Keen applied all the pressure he needed to do in the top lane. And because of this, it made LM's job a lot easier. Because when your solo lanes are playing better, like we did, like we saw like a few hours ago with the Rogue series, right? When your solo lanes are playing better and they have the prio, you you're definitely going to win win most of the games because it's easy for you as a jungler. You don't have to do much. All you have to do is just uh, and this is what I felt like was the problem. That particularly Zika, I felt was so much behind the eight ball versus Fate, and I think that was the problem. Like I like, and this is something DRX will need to address in the like during the break they have, right? Like they need to get Zika up to speed because if he keeps playing like this, I don't think like I think they're ruining their chances as a top four team because because Deft and Beryl were still as good as we thought, right? Yes. I mean, it's unnatural to think he'd play that for every game. Let's be honest. It's unnatural. I I don't think I don't think they'll change players. I think they'll get a coach. No, because I actually think because while they did fire Coach Kim and their performances got better, they got better as a team. It still didn't solve the whole grand scheme of things issues, right? And so I feel the first thing they need to do get a coach, get someone. Yes. Yeah. 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 And I think they'll definitely get better because like they have the players for it. It's just and I feel like KDF and DRX were already a very close team depending on how you looked at it. But it's like DRX for them to improve, I feel like the improvement has to come through the solo lanes because you can't expect Def to play inhumanely every single time. And like he can't be superhuman. He can't be Super Saiyan all the time, right? He can't be that. And then you can't also expect Pioshik to just create everything by himself. So yeah, 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 and yeah, that's pretty much it for looking back at the series. Now let's look forward to so few hours from now. We have T1 versus KDF, which is going to be a one-sided bloodbath. It's I think the difference. I think it like I can see a world where it might be 3-2, but it still be T1, right? I don't have a shred of doubt where T1 wouldn't win this series. Like I and we've argued about this before, right? That uh, we've actually debated about this before. That I don't believe T1's unbeaten season means record means anything, and it's basically an asterisk on them, right? But they're still a very very good team, and I feel like Genji would have won one of the two series. I feel like Genji would have won one of the two series. Yes. No, it is. It is. Yeah. Now, 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 my thing, right? My thing is like I was saying, the only I could see a world where it's 3-2, but for T1, which is if Keen and Fate just basically takes the solo lanes over, and it's possible that it happens because Fate recently has been on a tear, like like this last few weeks, Fate's Fate's basically showing everyone why KDF made it a priority to get him. Oh yeah, the asterisk. Yes, he has COVID. Yeah. The T1, the T1 COVID conspiracy strikes again. Um, it's every time T. Yeah, I think he will play because based on the reports as of a few hours ago, he's just feeling mild cold symptoms and he's most likely going to be going ahead. The only thing that it changes if there's something happens at the last minute, right? And unlike yeah, listen, it doesn't matter as long as he's playing. That's a yeah, yeah. But I feel it'll be fine. But like I was saying, like if the solo lanes take it over, and I think the biggest contention point is, and this could happen because I can legitimately see this happening, but I don't know how much will impact it. Like how much is Keen going to bully Zeus? Be- no, it's possible it doesn't happen, right? Yeah, but I feel like it's Keen we're talking about, right? It's Keen we're talking about. Like this guy's insane, and he's been insane for a long time, and he finally has a good team, and he said it as much himself. Like I finally have a good team, right? Like I finally have a good set of players around me. Like it's I I feel what's happened with Kongrong is that when Fate started popping off, it took a lot of pressure off of the rest, and everyone just just elevated up a bit, right? Everyone just shifted up. Yeah. But but honestly, I think the problem with Fate was not because of Fate, it was because of the meta. The meta was really bad at the start. Now we've gotten into a meta that's actually quite enjoyable. We have the Aries, we have the TFs, we have the Gallios at times, we have Rise, we have the occasional Vegars, right? We even have Corkis. We even have Corkis. So it's opened up more. I like it, right? It's it's you've come to a situation where there's multiple dimensions you can go with this game. It's they were all they were only the meta. It was all them. Yeah. It- yeah. 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 But again, like I said, I could see a world where KDF can push the series to 5 games, but I don't see T1 not winning because T1 has so many tools to win. the series. Like it could be through Faker, it could be through Owner, or it could be through Guman Carrier, right? Like I think Zeus is more unlikely because of Keen, but it could happen. Like anything can happen. I'm not. I'm not gonna rule out anything. It's doomed. It's doomed. But but I think on the flip side, even if T1 wins, but Keen gaps Zeus, that's gonna be in the back of his mind. Like oh shit. Like it's like for, for Keen, you're like you come into the game one, you start off running, you bully him so that he remembers every game that that you're in lane. That's what Keen needs to do, right? Because this is Zeus first playoffs, right? Owners played games. Gumas played games. We don't have to talk about Faker and Carrier, right? They've been to Worlds and all that, right? They've been to Worlds multiple times. Multiple times. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. They've at least reached. They've at least have some experience, right? To go about. Zeus has none. It's like it's scary. Yeah, and yeah, but yeah, I feel like that's the only way I can see. Like yeah, if Keen bullies, if Keen bullies Zeus in lane, right? All of a sudden you could see a situation where KDF is taking advantage of one lane, right? Bot lane is definitely going to be T1 favored because Guban Carrier, and then mid lane is the deciding factor, where we have seen Faker pop off, but we've also seen Fate pop off. It's like, it's like whichever one pops off is like we're like, oh, oh, this is going down, and no, yeah, yeah, exactly, obviously, obviously, yeah, yeah, yes, yeah. I feel regardless of which side are you on for KDF, right? You do two things because not often you're going to be able to uh, counter top lane, right? You're not going to be able to counter big top lane a lot of the times if you're definitely on blue side. You won't be able to do it. However, you can counter pick jungle if if you go down that route. I think that's a very good option. It's like maybe Elim has a volley on his back pocket, right? Because we've seen a lot of volley bear. Yeah, yeah, but the thing is, you see these champions like like a lot of like there's still Lee Sin been prevalent, but people have been starting to play more volley bear. There's the poppies, there's the Hekarims. Like I could see a world where where KDF goes, okay, we're going to make sure LM gets a good pick, so we're going to hold it off until the late first phase so that he doesn't get banned out, right? And then we're going to see how we go about it, right? And then they strategize it, and then that's how they do the whole thing. Are you bouncing a ball? Okay, sure. Yeah. But yeah, now it's the solo recording, guys. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I was about to go lyric mode there because the solo cast. But yeah, it happens a lot, and yeah, we've seen that a lot too. But yeah, like I was saying, KDF, I think there's a world I could see them pushing T1, but I don't see them winning the series. But yeah. I think if I'm gonna predict the series, I think it's gonna be 3-1. I think KDF can take a game. Yes. Yes. Yeah. They're peaking at the right time. KDF is peaking at the right time. Yes. Yeah. 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 So, speaking of peaking, right? This is a good transition. Let's talk about two teams that are gonna play each other whose peaks we have no idea about because they're so inconsistent. We have Damwon Kia and Genji, where whose peaks were like, wait, what's their peak? We don't know. So yeah, because Damwon plays one game like they're absolutely smashing everyone, and then the other game Canyon does 700 damage. So and it's like where are we going? So yeah, so yeah, but how many times can they do that, and how many times will they get away with it? Because I feel they're playing against Genji, which undoubtedly has, in my opinion, two of the best players in Korea without a shred of doubt, and then there's two other people behind them, which is ruler Chovian ruler. Yeah, but again, like Gen G to me has never felt like the team that is at any point peaked. And obviously, we haven't seen their peak because they've had COVID issues at very weird times. It's like it's like the first T1 series they had a string of COVID. It's done. They were playing together again. All of a sudden, by the time the second T1 series rolled in, and another person goes into COVID, and then he has to come back, and then they start playing together again. It's like there's there's so many, like there was no continuity there, so we don't know what Genji's gonna show up like, right? But we see what they have. They literally have, in my opinion, the like again two of the best players in Korea, and at the same time, there's two other players who are like, you gotta count for us too. So yeah, I mean, and then there's Damwon Kia, which has the similar thing. Ironically, both teams' weakness is their top lane. Who would have thought? Who'd have thought? Who'd have thought, TDS? Who'd have thought? Yeah. And they got Bardo. Yeah. 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 But again, against Damwon, you don't have to worry about it because I mean, yeah. But again, I feel like Doran will play better. but I think he'll be relegated to a point where he's just playing the save top lanes. You know what I mean, right? It's like, and I find it, I do find it, I do find it interesting that not a lot of top laners so far in the playoffs have gone towards tanks. Yeah, yeah, and then he smashed people with Ornn. Yes, it's it's Ornn, guys. Ornn's a tank assassin, item master, forge, whatever, right? But I, the reason I say tanks is because you know a lot of people are playing Jace, right? And it's always been this 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 theory in people's head that if you're playing as Jace, why don't you just pick Malphite? Because every jungler at this point is 80. Every top laner is 80. Why don't you play Malphite? Doesn't matter if you die. Who cares? That's why I feel like Gragas and that's why I feel like Gragas and Sion would be high prior as well because you realize, well, they can't kill you once you make armor. And you have so much sustain in lane already, and even if you're Sion who's dying in lane, who cares? You're Sion. Yeah. I mean I mean yeah, I mean it's like I find it very jarring that they are always opting for like carries as opposed to just taking a tank, which I think like some of the top laners will not definitely default to. We can talk about the Shy, we can talk about Wonder. Like they they will not default to carries. They will play anything that their team needs, and they've shown that just about at this point, right? So I don't understand like why wouldn't you play tanks, especially in this meta, and particularly in terms of like Genji or Damwon, because these two teams play so much through the other lanes that you can just put the tank in the top lane, like leave them on an island. Who cares, right? Or yeah, or maybe they're just going to play carry top laners and then you're going to go top lane, right? And this is something I think Genji has an upper hand over Damwon, is that Genji has the capability of playing through any lane, right? They can, like, Peanut can do that, and Peanut is obviously the more aggressive of the two junglers, even though we all know Canyon's the better jungler by far, right? In many cases, but Peanut is the more aggressive jungler because he's not afraid to gank. Canyon does it, but Canyon does it more methodically. You can kind of see it coming. Yeah, 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 yeah. But 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 I think Peanut is at a point where he can actually like run gunshot on everyone basically. Yeah, just make Canyon play on your terms, not his terms, your terms. And like if oh, it's very much possible. Canyon's been, I feel Canyon's been more exploitable than ever. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I think the biggest contention point, we all know what this is, right? It's not the mid lane because we all know what Showmaker's record is versus Chovy, and Showmaker always has the upper hand over Chovy. But I think the most curious lane is actually bot lane because ruler lanes is a scary bot lane. I gotta admit, it's a scary bot lane. Like you give ruler an aggressive support. Who would have thought that works, right? The last time ruler had an aggressive support was when he lifted the trophy. So he lifted worlds. So I mean, what's bigger than that, right? I mean, I mean, th- so I feel like it's very important because both these teams played through bot lane quite a bit, and I feel Damwon's more pressure to play through bot lane and going up against Ruler and Lehens, like yikes. Because remember that game after Ruler came back from COVID, he all of a sudden started playing Zaya like he was a maniac. I think it was. I don't remember if it was. I don't remember which one it. Yeah, I don't remember which one it was, but he just played like a maniac. He's he played flanking Zaya as well. He played flanking Zaya, guys. Flanking Zaya. Yeah. It's ruler, man. It's ruler. Yeah. 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 And I feel like we've seen a bit of evolution of Chovy, right? We've seen an evolution of Chovy in the sense that he's not being that like that's I I shouldn't say this. It because the connotation comes out as negative. It's like he was more like a self-centered mid laner, but you know, I don't mean anything negative by that. It's more like he kept to himself, huh? He kept to himself, and you know, he's like he kept to himself. He's farmed, and then he just carried games. I feel like he's done less, but at the same time, he's done more in other aspects. He's been around this team. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because even in the Griffin times, right? While Chovy was putting up these like insane KDAs, right? It was not like Chovy was carrying the game by himself. He wasn't. He just literally does it effortlessly. Yeah, 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 yeah. I, yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel like, and I've told you guys this before, you and Miles, that Gen G feels like EDG, right? Because they, yeah, from last year, obviously. I mean, their form hasn't been good this year, but again, you never can count out EDG. Yeah, but it's like they have a similar structure where they have a very very good mid laner and they have a top tier bot lane and they have a weaker top lane, but he can be so good at times that you're like, wait, what? And then you have this jungler that if he turns it on, he's like, oh shit. So it's like they have they have many similarities, which is why like when I see this Gen G team, I'm like, oh man, if this team starts clicking, it's going to be so hard to beat them. And it's like, and Damwon's the perfect opponent to see if they'll ever click this season, this split at least. And I wouldn't mind if they didn't click this split. It's like yeah, it's like yeah, yeah, it's like they're all like new players. They've all come back to this team. These are five players that have never played with each other together, and there's a coaching staff that has not been on this team. It's like everything's new about this Gen G, except for the general manager. Arnold, good job though. Arnold, good job. But yeah, uh, the thing is, like, yeah, I never felt like they were going to win this split. I never felt it. I felt the timer was next split, but if they can reach the finals and potentially win it, like that's way ahead of schedule. All of a sudden, yeah, 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 and yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's move on to predictions. Go ahead. This is hard. I know this is so hard. Oh, yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I will take 3-2 Genji, and as I agree with you, it's going to be 5 game series. But I think the difference is going to be the fact that Ruler now has teammates that will not be a burden. He will not have to drag them around the rift to be like, "Hey, guys, let's win." Like, no, he doesn't have that. So I feel like this might be the moment that Genji just kind of breaks through, goes to the finals, and then tries to win the split. Like, but it's going to be really close, and depending on how this series looks, we're gonna be evaluating how the finals will go, right? Because because I think this is one of the semifinals we're actually looking forward to see. Like, what happens, right? I mean, definitely, yeah. And I think if Genji gets to the finals and faces T1, Genji will have extra extra adrenaline going into the series because they're like, T1 played us twice without our full roster. Yes. Yeah, they beat us twice without our full roster. Let's go and show them what we are, right? That's like they'll have that fire in them that yeah, let's do it. If Damwon goes there like, oh, T1 beat us so many times in the regular season, yeah, let's go and show them that we're not pushovers. Like either team who comes to the finals and faces against T1 will have this extra fire to just kind of beat T1 up. Yeah, it's like they both want to be like, yeah, like no, no comprende, bro, no comprende. So yeah, that's it. I mean, that's pretty much the LCK because, well, I mean, wait, when is finals next week or is finals? Let me check. It is next Saturday. It is next Saturday. Yeah, that gives us a bit more. That gives us a bit more time, don't you think? But yeah, but sadly, that's not all we have. Let's move on to LEC because we had some LEC game, LEC playoffs, right? And let's start with the look back at the series that was Rogue versus Misfits. So, go on, go on. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah. 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 Like yeah, I felt like, you know, this this series was so wrong in so many levels. Like the drafting, like even from both sides, though Rogue to quite a bit of to quite a lesser extent, but both the drafting was horrible. For lack of a better word, it was horrible. Like to draft Syndra blind pick was like the biggest what the fuck moment I've seen in the playoffs. It's like, what are you doing? Why are you drafting Syndra? No one understands it. Yeah, yeah. It's like I don't know what their priorities were. I don't know where it stuck. Like the fact that they were so unprepared to face the bot lane pressure that Malrang was giving, and at the same time, every game Malrang went to gank top multiple times. It was every game, not even a single difference, and Misfits never, like, except for the one game, they never adapted to it. And it's like, what, like, why? Yeah, 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 and Mercer, and Mercer. But I don't think Mercer played bad. I don't think Mercer played bad. I think Mercer played pretty well. Yeah, it's like yeah, it's definitely the top side. Like here, it in the first two games was abysmal. Zlatan was, I don't understand what Zlatan was doing for a good chunk of the games. Um, VTO, except for one game, I don't know what you were doing. The Zoe non-existent. Zoe non-existent. Syndra, why? What was it? What did he play in the fourth game? I forgot. Um, he played. He played Akali. He tried, but I'm like, what are you still doing, right? But it's like I like the Akali pick, but it's like I don't understand how that like I think fourth game was definitely not on him, but the first two games were like yikes. I don't know what you're doing. Like drafting wise, it was a disaster, and like every single time it's like uh first pick like second and third game first pick Lee Sin upon like three ADCs ban first pick Lee Sin opponent picks Aphelios, you're stuck to Zaya. It worked in the third game, but that was largely due to the fact that Hirid played really well in the third game, and then VTO just basically stopped mid lane. But other than that, like to draft like that is just blasphemy. It's just blasphemy. Now, like, okay, so since you bring that up, I did want to talk about it. Like Perks, his comments, they're asinine. They, they are asinine. I don't understand why he would say this. They are so delusional. They are so much like I'm living in a box. Listen to me. It's like it's like I'm living in a box ID. It's like I'm living in a box opinion. It's like Fnatic's not doing well in scrims, so they're not. So if they win, they're doomed. EU's doomed. Even LS said it. Like scrims mean nothing. Like it's like, and then even when Yamato said that let people talk, like the live matches will show us everything. It's like this. You're basically giving them bulletin board material. You're like, okay, Berg said this about us. Put this on the bulletin board. We yeah, we'll show him, right? It's a it's like you're fueling your opponents for no reason. Yeah, no, it's practice, and I'll quote LS on this, and I will kind of paraphrase LS on this because he said this on his stream, right? I'll paraphrase him, which is um he said that if Fnatic was not losing its scrims, there would be a problem because that would mean Fnatic's not practicing anything. Fnatic's not trying to do anything new, which means they're doing same old, and they're trying to win scrims, right? Like if you're trying something, you're going to fail at times. Yeah, I mean, what? I mean, for one of the best mid laners in EU history, and some would argue he'd be right up there, right? Or he would right be as one of the best players because he did role swap, right? Um, I for me, the best player in EU for like in in history will have to be Yankos. Wherever Yankos has gone, it's turned into a successful team. H2K, G2, yeah. I mean, I can't understand why you would say this. I cannot understand this. I don't understand it either. It's just that. Like, come on, man. But yeah, but we don't need to talk about the LEC further than this. You know what I mean? Because we've already talked about the series. We're talking about Fnatic G2. We already talked about Excel Vitality, right? We've already talked about it in our LEC special episode. I will link it. So we will link it in the description, right? Um, so you guys can go and watch that. No, I have not. I have not. Yeah, I, I have not changed my mind on any of those series because to me it is like there has been no new developments that would change otherwise. Like for example, one player not playing or something like that. Nothing else. Nothing has happened like that. So I'm not going to change my mind. It's like I've said what I said by giving it some thought. Like so yeah yeah yeah. Now let's move on to the league that TDS hates the most. Um, Screw LPL, but you know the LPL playoff bracket is out, and it's a bit of a doozy. So, what do you think of the playoff bracket, TDS? Yep. Yeah. Yeah. But I think, yeah, I think of it in a different way, right? First of all, I think the bottom half of the playoff bracket is definitely one of the hardest ones I've seen in the LPL. It's it's dreadful to be in. But at the same time, I think this was what Weibo needs. A kick up their backside. Yes. Because I feel a team, even when they face adversity, especially in esports, right? I'm not talking traditional sports. When it comes to esports, the stronger teams you play against, the better you get because you get ideas about how to play differently. Why are you not better than them? What are they doing that's better than you, right? So you start to pick up these ideas and you start to adapt to you start to adapt it or integrate it to your style, right? And then you come in and then you're like, yeah, that's how this works, right? So I feel this is a good moment for Weibo to take a bit of time and understand which position you are and then where you are. You have to face JDG in to get into the double LM bracket, right? And you have to beat them. And that means you have to come more prepared. And I feel this could happen, right? Like this could be the wake up call that Weibo needed. Because like for me, they are such a talented team, but they have these weird fumbles, right? And and now we can start to see what are they actually made of because this is make or break. This is the moment. And even then, right? Even if Weibo doesn't succeed in spring, no one would say anything, right? Right? But I mean is that I think they're a very good team, but I could see a situation where they would be like, yeah, let's try our best and improve for next season if we can't win it, right? But we definitely want to win it. Yes, yes, and I think Weibo is such a team that they're so talented that they can beat anyone in this bracket. Anyone, like whether it be RNG, JDG, V5, whoever, right? They can beat them. But this is the point which is why I love the LPL playoff bracket is because you put them in a situation like, yeah, do it, go and win one, go ahead, yeah, show us what you're made of, because I think you'd agree with me on this, right? There's at least 6 to 7 potential winners, split winners in this bracket in general. Like think about it. There's like EDG could still win it. Yeah, okay. It's definitely going to be V5 RNG, right? Definitely going to be JDG, Weibo and TES. I can't trust LNG for the life of me still. But again, it's either one of those two, right? It's either one of those two, right? Because I don't care who wins against BLG versus RA, right? TES will smack them. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, so I mean, so yeah, like my first reaction was, oh shit, the bot side of the playoff bracket is insanely hard. Yes, and yeah, I feel like this is what the LPL does best. Put them in the fire. Let's see if they rise. Right? Trial by fire. Let's do this. And and this is and this is why the LPL has done so well at Worlds for the last few years. Right? They've always put themselves in the trial of fire. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, and I understand why they did this, the double LM, because when you get to the top four teams, the difference in skill is so small that adding the double LM changes a lot, changes everything. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Did you never won worlds the way they did? Like, yeah. 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 And 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 LPL teams has this aura around them that on a given tournament they just turn it on and they're like, oh shit, like Suning 2020, right? They're like, yeah, we're gonna run gunshot, like gunshot on everyone. Like it's like the LPL teams have such aura around them that they can do this. Like they can run their gauntlet by themselves. So, like, yes, yeah, 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 yeah. And the interesting thing about the LPL team is it doesn't matter what happens in one game. The next game they just come out and stop you. Oh, like it's like, yeah, they're limited legitimate switch even between series. It's madness. And that's why as a viewer, this is probably the best league you can watch because you're like, oh, Yeah, I mean, obviously you can't make sense of it, but when you're viewing it as a fan, you're like, oh my god, like how is this happening? Yeah. So because the next time we'll probably do an episode, probably we'll do it next Friday again, right? Friday, you obviously Friday for you. Don't count me. We like the world's timing schedule is weird. Every Friday, then the Saturday, like yeah, it's weird. But yeah, but yeah. So since we're gonna do this, so we're gonna have to run through a couple of these series because LPL series they don't give you any breaks. Yes, yes. No, we don't have to do it because potentially we might be doing it on. Well, actually we might, but let's see, right? Or we could just do an episode on Thursday and just be like, hey, yeah, it'll time perfectly. Let's see. We'll talk about that. We'll think about it, right? So yeah, um, but yeah. So let's talk about BLG versus RA, right? One team that's going to a bit of I don't know what's going on with them in their team environment, and the other one which is kind of riding high considering they lost their best player to this same team. It's the return of Fofo, but versus his old team. So, initial thoughts. Initial thoughts. Yeah, yeah, yes. Okay, so I feel RA might be the superior team, but again, BLG has the talent. They can turn it on at any point, right? It's like it's one of those situations where I don't know what to make of BLG, right? Because BLG is a team where they're uh, like Breeds one game he's playing insanely well, and then there's another game where he's like back, he's a duck. And Fofo one game he's playing really well, and then next game he's a duck. Um, Doggo and Crisp they generally play well, but again there's some there's some highs and lows, and then there's Weiwei trying to put out fires. Whereas RA feels more like a team, but as a team they have their highs and lows. Like at one point, Strive's like literally killing everyone, and then there's Strive, he's not doing much, but the team's not doing much. So like it's 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 different teams with different flaws that are playing with each other, and it's like who's going to not suck the most? But but I feel like even if RA didn't win the series, I wouldn't be disappointed. Like, hey, we made playoffs. We had a rookie, right? Yeah. Because I think RA fully expected to not win games, and then they would have swapped Leyan for Junja. Yeah, and then they would have replaced Leyan with Junja, and then they never lost, so they didn't replace him. So predictions then. I think it's going to be 3-1 for 3-1 for. I think it's going to be 3-2 for RA because it's one of those situations where I kind of get the feeling that like on a given day, I think RA is the better team, like as a collective, but BLG definitely has the players. And I don't think, and given how BLG plays, it's so up and down that I can't trust them. So I think I'll go 3-2 RA because RA's shown that they can beat RNG. Is it doesn't come out of bloody nowhere, right? Yes. Yeah. 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 Okay. So so let's keep on this side of the bracket, right? Let's keep this side of the bracket and then we'll move around later. So either of the winner of this series, BLG versus RA, they'll play TES. What do you think? Like, I mean anyone would take TES at this point because momentum. Yeah. 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 For me, I think TES would win any series, but I think it'd be 3-1 depend depending on like circumstances because I feel like TS might lose a game. But again, TS will still win the series, no doubt about it. Because I think RA would be out of their depth against TS, and BLG is simply not good enough as TS. Like the difference between that is that RA getting there is like a huge accomplishment, and they should have never gone there. And BLG would be like they have the capability to beat a team like TES, but they can't because they're not good enough. They aren't that good as a team. So like yeah, yeah. Okay. I think we're kind of in agreement with TES definitely winning the series whoever wins. Now the question is, yeah, question mark is later because now we talk about let's say because we're gonna assume TES wins because we both agreed. And I think not just us, most people would agree that TES would win against whoever comes up, right? Question is TES versus LNG. this is this is the series I feel like I have no idea what's gonna happen because I can't trust LNG and I can't trust TES as well at times. It's like yeah, 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 yeah. For me, it's a flip of a coin. Take a coin, flip it. Whichever side. yeah, whichever side it is, they win because I think this is going 5 games because the reason I can't trust LNG is because of the top side. Like top side, that means in particularly Ale. He has not been good. He's had his moments, but he's not been good. And of course, we've seen LNG here before where they made the run, and you know, I don't believe lightning strikes twice. And so I can't trust them. Let's leave them off, right? So for me, I feel that you could flip a coin and whichever way it lands, they could win. Because I can make the argument for both teams. Because I've seen Light and Awandi being a much better bot lane. Well, who would have thought? Uh, so yeah, Light and Awandi is a very good bot lane. Doinb is still a very good mid laner, and Tarzan is still a very good jungler. The problem lies is when you go to top lane because, like you said, T Wayward might be exploitable, but at the same time, who's exploiting him? Like, like, like who's exploiting him? Uh, so, so I feel like top lane might be a wash. Jungle might be a wash, given how Tarzan's form has been recently. Um, Mid lane is a wash. Um, so the difference is bot lane. So is it light I1D winning or is it Jackie Love and Mark? And that's where I think it will lie because I think what this series will boil down to is the team fights. Whoever wins team fights will win the series. It's as simple as that. And I believe either can win. It'll definitely go 5 games. And because you said LNG, I'm just gonna go TES, right? Just for just for a contrarian's argument, but I could see LNG winning this. No. Basically, I could wake up, I could sleep, and I could wake up, and I could think LNG would win, and then and I could sleep that I could sleep tomorrow and then wake up day after, and then I'd think TES could win. It's like I could flip flop this at any point in time. So I mean, that's why I'm just going for the contrarian's sake. Just go with it. You know, it's a battle of the coins essentially, like right. So yeah, but this is a question I want to pose to you, right? Because whoever wins goes to the double elim bracket, obviously, round four. Do you think either team has a legitimate shot at beating V5? I don't care about the second one. I just care about the round four matchup. So you're saying, yeah, neither of these. I think they have, like, I think either team, whoever goes, has a 30% chance of beating V5 at the first go. 30. Not th- I mean, it's the LPL. It's the LPL. You gotta account for it. Uh, but uh, yes, because Karsa's been on a separate level again, and everyone's like, Karsa's so bad. Well, guys, have you been seeing Karsa? Yeah. I mean, I mean, to be honest, let's be real. You could see Karsa as one of the top 3 junglers ever, even though he's never won worlds. Even though he's never won worlds, but you could see it. You can see it. Like for the career he has had, for the career he's had, for the career he's had for multiple teams, right? Multiple situations. Yeah, it's crazy. Uh, Yeah, it's crazy, right? Yeah, yeah. So, yeah. So that's the question I wanted to pose because yeah, I think V5 is definitely the superior team, and I don't think any of these two teams have like anything more than a 30% chance because well, of course, our opinions may change depending on how TS or LNG plays, right? Okay. Now, now, let's move to the other side of the bracket. EDG FPX. Are we in unison here? Is this the EDG stomp? I mean, sure. Yeah, obviously. Yeah, 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 yeah. So, yeah, yeah. I think it's gonna be a 3-1. I mean, again, LPL, and they always drop games. They always drop a game, but it's like I don't see any shape or form where, even though FPX has improved after they got care, I don't think it's any different because EDG is on just a different level when it comes to, yeah, because Viper and Scout. So yeah, let's move on because this might be interesting. This might be interesting. Weibo versus EDG. It's We saw them in the regular season. Weibo bonked them. Yeah, Weibo just bonked them. And do you think another bonking's coming? Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, guys. Just to clarify, we're talking about Hong Kong because he is the second best AD carry in the league. There is no shred of doubt about that. Yeah, I, I, yeah, I think the difference in the series might be if ADG just does go through, it'll be the jungle because I have been like I think SOFM plays so good in some games and then he just looks completely lost in some, and I think he single-handedly loses them games. It's 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 so bad, right? And I think coming into the playoffs, Weibo might need to change their idea of how they want to draft. I know the Shy loves his Scion, and I know he's excellent at it. But sometimes you might need to change that up because the Shy might be your difference maker. Because yeah, and it's a 5 game series, and I think we might see a different approach, and I hope we see a different approach. But I'd still take Weibo as well, right? Because unless EDG massively improves as a team based on the series, based on the series against FPX, I don't see them winning against Weibo. It's no way. Yeah, 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 yeah. Basically, well, but yeah, but yeah, yeah, like I look at this Weibo team, right? And then compared with EDG, it's like Viper Maker. Huan Fang Ong. Huan Fang Ong's been playing really well, and this is a bot lane that will get neutralized. Then there's mid lane. Scout versus Angel. Angel's always neutralizes mid lanes. That's his whole deal, right? This is why Angel's so highly rated because he like most people will think like he's not mechanically that good. Like why is he going to like why is he going to do that? Why is he going to do this, right? And when I see Angel, all of a sudden Angel's like neutralize. Bang! Vagar. You can't do anything anymore. Like no, I mean Angel can play everything. Like yeah, yeah. It's maddening. And then there's like the Shy, who's literally could be the best top laner ever at any given point. And he's like bonking you with Scion and winning lane. Like, who does that? He wins lane with Scion by himself. He wins lane with Scion by himself. Like imagine we come to the playoffs and all of a sudden we're talking about Ornn making it back, right? Imagine if he starts playing Ornn and he starts beating the crap out of everyone. Like I, I mean, where are you going to go if this is what the Shy is gonna do? He's gonna play tanks and he's going to solo kill you in lane because he's the Shy. But it doesn't matter if he does it with Sion, right? Because it's Sion. Yeah. So we're in consensus that yeah, Weibo's going through. Yeah, okay. So then we're going to the rematch of JDG versus Weibo, as usual. Which is the one matchup I dreaded for Weibo. Like I told you guys from the start, like this is the matchup that's probably going to be dreaded because I feel like JDG might be the most scariest team in the LPL right now. Everyone's looking at JDG like I don't want to play them. No, it's like no, it's because JDG is the scariest team and no one wants to play them. No one. It's they look so no be, yeah because if you're looking at any team right now, right? Even V5, if you're looking at JDG right now, you'd be scared of them because if there's one jungler that can match Karsa, it's Kanavi right now. Kanavi's playing like an absolute monster. And 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 then of course you have Rookie versus Yagao. Rookie's obviously going to be better than Yagao at any given day, but it's like then you all of a sudden have to deal with and hope and missing, missing. Like we were memeing about missing going missing every single time, and now he's just insane. And there's hope. He was in EDG's bench, and apparently he's so good that he instantly becomes a top three ADC once he starts playing with a new team. What's the deal, EDG? Why did you keep him in jail for so long? We understand why, but still, he was in jail for some reason. Like, holy damn! Like, and then obviously the weakness for JDG is the top lane, right? 369. He's basically mini shy. He's basically mini shy. Okay, okay. He's micro shy. Okay, nano shy. but on yeah, and yeah, like for me at least, right? For me, man, JDG is the scariest team. But if it comes to a best of five, I think this is definitely going 5 games because again, like I said, it's it's the Shy versus the 369, right? Where we expect the Shy to have the edge, right? But more importantly, this is the series where SOFM has to pull his pants up and go, I cannot get run over like this again. Because Kanavi ran over him. That's a shit. Like, like at that point, I'd just say, yeah, SFM's done. Just get, just go to BLG and get Meteor or something. At that point, like seriously. I mean, yeah. But I mean, honestly, SFM has to show that he belongs in this kind of talented team, because if not, they need to get rid of him immediately. Like, ah, no, no, oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Well, yeah, yeah, yeah. But if Weibo goes through, you're looking at Hope and Missing versus Huang Fang and On again. Great bot lanes, guys. Um, Mid lane, Angel versus Yagao, the great equalizers, the great equalizers, and like it will, yeah, ultimately it will boil down to Kanavi versus SFM at this point, unless the Shy just completely gaps 369. Completely gaps him, like no, yeah, yeah, and the Shy is gonna be like, I'm gonna one up you there, I'm gonna one up you there, buddy. Yeah, like look up, buddy. Um, but yeah, so predictions. This is rough. This won't be the roughest series. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, JDG is ahead of schedule. JDG is completely ahead of schedule. JDG is completely ahead of schedule. You never expected JDG to be this good. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, like I will say this, and I will say this the same, because it feels like the TS LNG series all over again. It's like a flip of a coin. Because for me, my brain says it's gonna be JDG because of how insanely good they've been playing, and my heart says the Shy can carry this, like by himself at this point. Ah, yeah. But I think it's going to be like when I think about it in a vacuum, I think it might be Weibo 3-2 because the shy, if he's like, and for most of the season he's been playing so well, and if he starts playing well, if he starts playing like that once again, and he starts gapping people with Sion, it's like, where are you going? like, 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 never mind giving the shy on Jace, like the shy Jace, like it's madness. Yeah. Oh, that's for confidence. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, SFM, you can play Zack again. It's fine. Let him. Now the question. Now there's a bigger question because we talked about this with the first side of the upper side of the bracket, the the other side of the bracket. Can any of these teams beat RNG? Because for me, absolutely. RNG is RNG is one of those teams. After I watched the game earlier, against OMG, I'm like, oh god, RNG. Like I don't know how RNG got second. It's like they look so bad at times. I feel like Weibo or JDG could just outright beat them. Ooh, yeah, 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 and yeah, and Angel is the great equalizer, so you can. Rahu is on a separate level, guys, guys, guys. I'm going to say something. I'm going to say something that might be a bit blasphemous in terms of old school LPL fans. Shahu might be making a case of being the best player of LPL ever. No, because as much as I love Rookie, right? Because for me that's Rookie. Because of the longevity of Rookie, how good he has been for so long. Like everyone's been talking about Doinby, but Doinby has been good for stretches, right? Yeah, 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 yeah. But but the reason I say this about Shahu is because he's won international events, right? International tournaments, like the rest of them. Of course, he's not won worlds, right? Yeah, he's not won worlds, right? But he's won MSI twice. Yeah, in two different positions, and he's not skipped a beat. This is the second time in a row you could legitimately say, okay, he's the best player in the league. He's the best player in the league. Yeah, Yeah. 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 I mean, Chahu is a monster. It's like, and that's why I say this. Like, Chahu has played two different roles, and he's won MVPs. And yeah, and once again, like, you're looking at Chao and you're like, what the hell? Like, if he's going to play two different roles and he's going to be the best player in the league, like, who else has done that ever? Exactly. The Perks was never this good as an ADC. It's like like imagine yeah, imagine just Shaho winning MSI with as a mid laner and then switching to top lane and then immediately winning MSI as a top laner, being the best one. I'm like, what? Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it, right? But the last thing I wanted to talk to you about, because this is a very minor news, right? Fits the outro. The LCL's cancelled for the split, so they're not making MSI. They're not making MSI. So yeah. And given that it's going to be in Korea, I feel like we might have more teams that might not make it to MSI. And like VCS might be one of them, yeah. And I feel like the LCO might be one of them because of Australia's strict regulations. Like it like I mean, Latin America teams should be a like no brainer because they're going from Brazil, and Brazil's situation is not like it's as bad as Korea. So I mean, it's a non-issue. I think European teams will definitely go. I think North American teams will definitely go. But the fact that you're putting it there, the VCS might not be able to go once again. The LCO might not be able to go. Then how are you balancing this? Like, this is going to be such a bad situation. So which is why I suggested that just shift the just change it. Like, change it while you have the chance. You still have like over a month. Just do it. Yeah. Like Korea's situation is really bad. Yeah, Korea's situation is really bad, and you know, like, if you can't change the venue and it's like, just cancel it. Just cancel it. Seriously. Like, it's not worth putting the teams through that just because we want to play it through Korea. Yeah. 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 And we already know what is going to be in NA, and NA's gone into a reasonable point where you can actually control it. So I think in NA they can definitely control it. So, but we don't know what the regulations are and all that. So we'll know about MSI, right? And yeah, I think this is a good place to just wrap it up. Unless we've actually gotten something. Yeah. But yeah, you got any last comments before we finish? Yeah, yeah. I'm just hoping we get to see some good games in this week. That's all I'm gonna say. I hope we don't see like Misfits versus Rogue again, where everyone's drafting like shit. But yeah, that's it for us today, guys. Um, we'll likely be back on Thursday or Friday. Hopefully, let's see. Schedules are a bit of an issue, so yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Cheerio.